Here is part 2 of that video I just made about the making of Adam actually being before everything else was made. I've done a lot of studying over the years, and I can't remember what books this is from. Maybe I'll list it later. But remember, after reading Genesis chapter 2, and you saw the first video, some of the books said, and we saw how, why did Yahuwah go back and say before he caused any green thing to grow, a mist or a vapor or moisture came up from the ground and watered the face of the whole earth. Then in the next verse it says, then he made Adam out of the mortar of the ground, not the dust. When water mixes with dirt, it turns into a muddy like mortar. Okay. Even before, for Adam to be made in the very image of the Son of Man, he had to come before everything. Just like the Son of Man is the first begotten of all things. Before the earth was, after the dry land appeared, and before anything that was living was made, after reading these books, I believe that's when Adam was made. Keep in mind, Adam not only was like an identical twin to the Son of Man, he looked just like him, he thought like him, because Yahuwah the Son breathed in him the same Holy Spirit that he had. Now, in one of the books, it says, after Yahuwah made Adam, I don't know if it was before or after he breathed into him. It was before, I believe. Yahuwah himself bowed down to his own reflection and image and commanded all the angels do the same, because that was a reflection of him. And all of them did, except for Lucifer, Satan, who got proud, thinking I'm made of fire and light. Why should I bow down to this, which is made out of mud and dirt? Think about that. And before that, it says Yahuwah commanded the archangel Michael to go to the four corners of the earth and bring him mud from the four corners of the earth. And it says Michael, being obedient archangel, he went. So the angel saw this. I can see a dark earth without habitation, without nothing growing, and a light come down from heaven. And that's Michael the archangel. He went to the north, the south, the east, and the west, and brought back about 200 pounds of mud, however much Adam weighed, maybe 175 pounds. And that's when the Son of Man fashioned him after his image. And if Yahuwah bowed down to him and worshiped, because that was him, a reflection of him, it was his mirror image, and he commanded the rest of the angels did, and they did except for Lucifer. And that's what's meant when he cast them down to the earth. That's why the Son of Man said, know that if they hate you, and we're the sons of Adam, the prophets and the children of Israel, he said they hated me first. Now we're wrestling in the earth with Satan's children, Europeans, the colonizers. And I'm going to tell you, even right now, I was going to make it a separate video, why they hate Russians. Remember, there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought with the dragon. And it says, and they won. And there was no more place found for them. And they said, you ain't got no place in here. And that's when he was cast down to the earth. The Son of Man said, I beheld Satan like Barak, which is lightning, cast down from the heavens. I know it ain't another person stuck out front. I'm for keep with the lesson. Think about that. So when he planted that garden in the east and caused the things to grow, that's when he placed Adam there. And all of his creation, Adam named it. And that's what it was called. It didn't say the fish of the sea. It said all the fowl of the air and the beast of the land. So the Son of Man, the Adam, which was like an identical twin to the Son, witnessed all of creation. And he knew that he knew that Satan was the tree of knowledge. And he dealt with him. He didn't have nothing to do with him. I mean, he talked with him, but he knew that he was wicked. And Eve was made. The deep sleep that he caused upon him was while he was in the garden. So Eve came along generations later, after he had did all the work of naming Yahuwah's creation. Think about that. Now, why do Europeans hate Russians so much? If you look at the Russian flag, they got a symbol of an angel, a white angel sitting on a horse, trampling a dragon underneath his feet with a spear. That angel on that horse is Michael, the archangel. And Satan is that dragon that they trampling. Think about that. And that's what's meant in Daniel chapter 12. And it says, and when the great tribulation comes up, in a time of trouble, it said, Michael the archangel shall stand up, which stands for the children of your people will stand up. That's Russia. They're fighting Europe. They're basically at war with NATO, including the West, America, Europeans. And they're winning with one hand tied behind their back. That's because Yahuwah is with them. See how the scriptures and the prophecies fulfill? Also, when he said that bear that rolled over on his sides with 3 ribs in his mouth, those I made a video on that a couple of years ago. Those are the regions of Donetsk and the other ones that with the 3 ribs in his mouth. And a voice spoke from the throne, said, "Go forth and defile much flesh." See, the lying mainstream media, Satan's children who known to tell lies like their father, have lied to you. Russia is mopping the floor with Ukraine. And Russia, United States and NATO combined ain't got no weaponry that can match Russia. The kings of the East is Russia primarily and China. The Euphrates River wasn't literal. It was the economy that was going to dry up. The dollar, the world reserve currency. Because back in the day, people built cities by rivers because rivers was givers of life and sustained life. Yeah, it looked like somebody else stuck in front of my house. But those are the mysteries I wanted to share. I was getting ready to go back to sleep till the sun rose, and I had to make this video. That's the order of things. And I forget which book that was. He commanded Michael, I think it's the book of Enoch, go bring to me some mortar or mud from the 4 corners of the earth. So he went to all the regions of the earth, brought him some, and the weight of that mud was about the weight of Adam. And he fashioned him to look just like himself and breathed in him, and Adam became a living soul. He was eternal. And before he breathed into him, he bowed down to his own image, because just like he lifted up his hand and he swore by his own name, because he knows there's no name, that there's none higher than him. So don't think that's strange. And then Michael the archangel bowed and worshiped because that was the image of the Son. And it says Satan didn't. He was arrogant. And he knew that Adam's creation, because he knew that he was going to make Adam was a God in the earth. He commanded all that. And he looked just like the Son. So all those things are something to think about. And that's why he said, know that if they hate you, they hated me first. How did that happen? Satan's children's roots go all the way back to the war in heaven. They didn't like the way the Son of Man looked. They looked narrowly upon him. And Satan didn't force a third of the heavens. They willingly followed him. They believed his lies. And then there was a second fall that happened in Genesis 6:2, and women helped that come in, because they slept with some of the fallen angels and brought in the Nephilim. And that's how demons came. There's a difference between fallen angels and demons. So I wanted you to consider that and join the two together. When you read Genesis chapter 2, it tells you after the whole host of the heavens and earth, because it don't tell you how Yahuwah created the heavens. Water was already here, because his spirit moved. Water was created with the heavens. And he tells you the order he created things. And then in chapter 2, he reflects back and tells you when man was made. It was before he caused the green things to grow, because that's when he planted the garden, after Adam was made. And that's when he put Adam in the garden. After he was made, he created and made the stuff to grow. Adam was eternal. So 1,000 years wasn't nothing but like a day to Adam. So if science say green things took 7,000 years to grow, Adam was 7 days in the earth. And then Yahuwah led him there. And that's when all the other things play out that you read in Genesis. So with that, something for you Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters to think about. I believe the things that I spoke about came from either the book of Jubilees or Enoch, one of the two. But it tells you that Michael Grab was the one that went through the earth, grabbed the dirt, and they called it a clod or something. And that's when Yahuwah created it. And and he bowed down to his own image. And after the years, you put the pieces of the puzzle together. Because when the Son of Man gave these things to Moses on the mount, it was tightly spiritually discerned. And the Bible tells you that those things are not shown to the world, but only to the elect. And they have to be of the seed of Adam and Israel. Why? Because that was man, his original creation. These humans Yahuwah didn't create. That's a hybrid. They're a mutation in the earth. The tares that he spoke about in Matthew chapter 13. They don't, it's not his will that they be in the earth. They're a hiccup, a curse. Yet they so arrogant that they think they're better than everybody. And just like a virus, they've gone through and colonized, killed, stealed, and destroyed. So those are mysteries that a lot of people don't know. And just like the Son of Man called out Satan's children, so did the prophets. That's why he referred to Ezekiel, son of man, because Ezekiel was a seed of man, his original creation. Everything in the earth came from man, woman, even the demons. Demons didn't come directly from man, but from our daughters having sex with the fallen angels. So that being said, something to think about. Peace be with you. Shalom.